important point again, because to summarize, you can say you have the duty wherever you go. Because you see, we found this in every code. So in every country we were investigating, we have the duty to go to show that you, as an engineer, are a responsible person. This means if you don't show that you are responsible, you won't get hired, because no one will hire an engineer that takes no responsibility. And in the worst case, the trust for the profession as an engineer will be lost. So, I tell you, if you go somewhere abroad, or you want to stay here and you want to be successful, if you want to success, you have to show responsibility by sticking to the laws and the society rules of the corresponding country you're staying in. Thank you. I will pass to Ali, who will tell you about the case study.
Alright, let's get started with task 2. As everybody knows, task 2 was a question for different groups, different questions given. Our question is a condition where you're doing a project and the project should be shut down, and because there is a health or safety or environmental negative impact that is happening due to your project. So you have to stop the project, but at the same time, your employer or your supervisor is not allowing you to do that because they are really interested to finish the project on time. So the question says, what would you do if you get stuck in this situation? And basically, I just explained it in a short way, and the question number is IE and since. So now I'll proceed to the next slide, which explain what BEM wants us to do if we just stick to BEM. However, BEM is just it's a number of rules which is repeated in almost every different place, and they are very similar. So it's not only about BEM, it's about the main big picture of what's happening. So number one in BEM, we know that basically safety and health and welfare of public is very important, and we should always take care of that as an engineer. And in 1.4, we know that if there is something happening which is wrong and we have to report it as an engineer, we should go and report it in such a way that it will be heard. So what I mean by that, to be more specific, if I say that to my supervisor, but my supervisor is a corrupt guy and he doesn't want to listen to me, I have to go to higher rank. If I go to higher rank, I have to keep going to higher and higher and higher rank till somebody hear me, and then I can say I have done my part. And interestingly, in our case study, we get back to this and I will explain further. And then in 1.5, we are talking about the case where you advise on something, but they're going to overrule your advice. And then you have to go and explain what are the circumstances of ignoring your advice. And you have to inform your supervisor and authorities for that. So now I'll go to case study, which is in fact quite, I think, interesting. It's about MH370. And if you guys followed the news during the first few weeks, you would know that there was a company called Georesonance. And they actually published something that they found the position of an airplane, which is based on their results. And when they talked to the director of the company, he said that the reason I brought this up is because I informed the authorities, I sent emails, I made phone calls, and nobody really took me serious, and there was no reply. So in this case study, what we can see is this. Somebody is following the codes of ethics, but guess what? Nobody's clapping hand for you. Everybody's going to ignore you. So in most case studies, we see the situation where we blame it on somebody that he or she made a mistake. But the point is this, even if you do the right thing, no one is going to clap for you. It's just part of your job, you have to do it. And if you don't do it, you get blamed. But if you do it, you have just done your job, and nobody's going to say thank you. So what happened here, they reported, and of course, I'm not stating that their report is correct, but that's what they did. So initially, they informed authorities, but authorities did not reply anything to them, and they ignored them. So what they did at the end, they came to mass media and they start publishing their reports on stating where, what they have found and what their data shows. And then they even themselves, they said that, okay, fine. Even right now they're saying that this is the data we have, and we are telling everybody, this data is what we have. Now, if you want to search the previous search area, it's okay, but we have already informed everybody. Now, what is the nice thing about this? Let's say after 2-3 years, they find an airplane in the place suggested by georesonance. So what's going to happen is that nobody can blame them. But imagine you were the director yourself, and you know that you have this data, and you did not publish it in mass media. What would you feel to yourself? Oh my God, I could just make this happen 2 years faster. But I didn't do it because I didn't report it to the media. I mean, media is the maximum place that you should report it to. And in fact, if you go and check their website, they have already published reports about this and the data that they have. So basically, they are telling everybody, okay, this is what we found, now you're going to make your decision, and this is not anything that they can be blamed later on. And let me just tell you something which is quite important. You see, the company that you're going to work in future, they don't really care about what happens in future because they know that you are going to be blamed, not the company. The company gets your signature and they're happy, they're doing the work, and if something goes wrong, you will be responsible for it. So I'm actually noticing this, that it's quite important that for us, we have to figure this out for our future. If we get to the situation where a company forces you to do things which are ethically wrong, you better quit it, because if anything goes wrong, everyone's going to blame you. So it's not about the money that they pay you. Remember that there is something afterward. Maybe it works for this year, next year, 3 years in a row, but eventually it's going to fail. So if there is a possibility for something to go wrong, make sure that you are reporting it. And if your employee is pushing you not to do it, just resign, because it's going to have a lot of other problems next on for you. And so, in conclusion, I think for the task 1, I have to say that code of ethics, actually in different places, are almost the same. The most important thing is the big picture, that you have to do the right thing. And in fact, the codes are not that complicated. I mean, if you just put yourself to judge that how engineers should make decisions, you would eventually come up with codes of ethics. If you want to be fair to everyone and do what an engineer is supposed to do, the code of ethics will automatically be generated. And then there are different case studies that show different things. But one of the things that I would like to highlight here, you may do the right thing. You may follow the ethical rules and regulations, but people may ignore you. Even till now, everybody is ignoring you. And if you go read about it, there are people who are saying that they are wrong, and there are people who are saying that they are right. But in fact, authorities are not even talking about it. It's like they are just being ignored. And they are not even getting any motivation to keep doing the right ethical thing. So I think that will be all for our presentation, and I hope you enjoyed it. So now we can go home.
Excellent.